I am actually planning to get a ring light because every angle of my room is incredibly dark at the moment and there is no nice way to light up this room apart from using my light there. But if I do that, I look really orange and I don't want to do that. Hello everyone, and I'm actually very excited for today's video because I do this at the beginning of every year. I do whatever's trending in the vinyl community when it comes to like the vinyl tag. But I decided this year I'm gonna make my own one because I checked out this year's one and I was writing my list of albums for the one that's going around, just Vinyl Tag 2024. For some of them I just genuinely couldn't come up with anything, and it wasn't like, oh, one or two I couldn't come up with. There were like a good few that I couldn't come up with, so I'm making my own one because I was able to fill in all of them myself. And actually, on that note, if you do plan to use my vinyl tag, the one that I'm about to get into today, make sure to call it Intro to 24 because then I can watch them, and if it's just called vinyl tag it'll just get lost amongst all the other ones. So if you want to make this, make sure to call it Intro to 24. This is my vinyl tag that I made myself. I've been coming up with these prompts for the last few days and I'm very excited to share them with you. Okay, before we start, we got the album of the day. It's 10,000 Days by Tool. This is almost my favourite Tool album. I think Lateralis just comes in first a little bit more for me. But this is a fantastic album with amazing songs, and if you like Tool like I do, you'll know this album is very, very good. Fun fact, Tool are my favourite band, so listen to this album, it's very good. Okay. Prompt number 1, an album which you discovered in 2023. I had so many of these that I could pick, but I'm going to pick the one that impacted my 2023 the most, and I spoke about this in my last video, and I'm picking Gojira's From Mars to Sirius. This is actually the album of my 2023. Like, I listen to it all the time and I still listen to it a lot now. Fantastic album, I highly recommend. And this is on a very nice pressing. I've actually got 2 copies of this album in my shelf. I love it that much, I need 2 of them. I'm not going to get it out just because I can't be bothered. You know what, I will be bothered. Just for the sake of the video, I will be bothered to show you this pressing because I'm pretty sure I pre-ordered this because it was like a HMV exclusive, and it was all very exciting to me because I had like been into Gojira at that point for like a few months, and I was like, oh my god, they're releasing coloured pressings, because like HMV were doing some like metal week thing where they were reissuing a bunch of albums, and this was one of them. I've picked out the wrong one. Oh my god. Sorry everyone. Oh, that's embarrassing. As I said, I have 2 versions and they both look the exact same. This is the coloured vinyl. It's on like a kind of coppery brown and black. Very, very cool. I'll show. I think the next point has something to do with another album that I got at the same time. An album from a band or artist that you saw last year. So I could have gone with like any of the bands I saw at Download Festival or Bloodstock, but I went with the artist that started off my 2023. This is Ways Blood Titanic Rising. I don't actually have her most recent record on vinyl, but I've had this for quite some time. And this is an absolutely stunning album. It's amazing, very like chilled out, really good. Love it a lot. Loved her live performance. Couldn't really get much better than that. Show a 10-inch record. I'm going to show the one that I got most recently. I got this like a month ago maybe, and I'm very excited about it. This band actually comes up in multiple prompts. I tried to keep it to like 1 band per prompt and not try and repeat myself, but I couldn't with this one. So I got the Rotoscope single from Spirit Box. This is also on coloured vinyl actually, and this is probably my only 10-inch vinyl. It's on like a red and orange vinyl. Anyone has any like ways to store this that isn't keeping it in this massive, this is a 12-inch sleeve. I kind of just leave it over there because I don't want it to get squished with everything else. This is my only 10-inch vinyl. Your favourite coloured pressing in your collection. I couldn't pick one, I picked 3. Because I can't pick favourites in here, and it's actually, I've shot myself in the foot with this list because there were so many that even I was like, I came up with these prompts but I can't pick just one album. So there are a few that have a couple. So the 3 albums I picked were Obson by Meshuggah. I'll show all the colours in a minute. The Weighable Flesh by Gojira. This is the other HMV exclusive coloured pressing that I was telling you guys about. And this one I'm very much excited for. This is the recent reissue of Damnation by Opeth, and I got the cool colour pressing, so I'm going to show those now. So here is the Meshuggah one. It's on like a, they described it on the website as like blood red. And I was like, okay, I need to buy that. So it's kind of like a little splat of black in the middle and then red everywhere. This is the Wave of Flesh. This is probably my favourite out of the two HMV exclusives for the Gojira records, just because, look at that. I love that combination of black and blue. I actually got the poster in the background for this record very recently. It's my new background accessory, along with the Spirit Box poster, which you can barely see because the window glare. And third and finally for this prompt, this is Damnation by Opeth. Look at that. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's like smoky translucent. So it's got like little bits of grey in like a clear vinyl. Looks very cool. I had been waiting for them to reissue this album for so long. Like, I'd be scouring Discogs like at least once a month, like, because I would see people putting up copies of this album for like hundreds, and I'm like, I can't afford that. And as great as of an album this is, I'm not paying hundreds for it. And then I get a nice little post on Instagram like, Opeth are like, oh, we're reissuing Damnation, blah blah blah, and I'm like, ah, finally! So I had to get it. I've got to complete the Opeth collection. An album you think deserves more attention. Now, by this I mean an album that maybe isn't very well known, or just one you think deserves a little bit more praise. It could be by a band that's really popular. I decided to go with this one because I really want to see this group live now that I've started listening to them, and this is probably the most recent album that I bought as well. I discovered them, I don't remember how, I'm pretty sure just through Instagram, and I just absolutely fell in love with this album. And that is Symptoms of Survival by Dying Wish. They are kind of like a metalcore kind of group, but with really, they're just really good. You know, I don't really know how else to describe it. They're heavy as hell as well. That's it really. This actually came on a really cool pressing. So I was going to put this in my favourite colour pressings, but I thought I was already going to be talking about it anyway. Look how cool that is. Woo! Woo! I think this album deserves more praise, in my opinion, in the community and just in general. It's such a fantastic album, and yeah, if you're into metal and heavy shit, you will probably like it, because it's got the mix of extreme vocals and also clean singing. So, you know, like to have a little bit of both sometimes. Your favourite release of 2023. Now, if you haven't already, before I begin this prompt, go and watch my favourite releases of 2023 video, because I made a whole video about it. And this was probably my favourite release of the entire year. It's not an album, it's an EP. You might know what I'm talking about. I already mentioned the band for the 10-inch prompt, and that is The Fear of Fear by Spirit Box. This was my favourite release of last year. I'm not going to go into it because I have talked to death about how much I loved this EP. And this is also on coloured vinyl. I think I've showed this before. It's on like a really cool like tricolour. Again, I wanted to put this one in for favourite colour pressings, but I didn't want to have like a gigantic list, so I kept it to 3, because originally it was just going to be 2, and then I was like, oh, I remembered I have that one album. So if you haven't already, definitely check it out. It is very, very, very good. An album in a different language. I thought this would be a very fun prompt, because I really would love to see other people's picks for this prompt. And obviously I went with Mutter by Rammstein, and they sing in German, if you weren't aware. I'm a big Rammstein fan. I even have a Rammstein tattoo, and I think my favourite thing in my room, got the giant Rammstein flag as well. I got that from when I went to see them last year. But yeah, this is my pick. I don't actually think I have any other bands in my collection as of now that speak in a different language other than English. So obviously Rammstein was the most suitable pick for this prompt. A progressive rock masterpiece. Now, I could not include a prompt about prog, since I am Neve the prog nerd. I have to have a progressive rock prompt in there. What is my favourite progressive rock masterpiece? Going with the one that impacted my life the most, and that is Nursery Crime by Genesis. I needn't say more, because everyone knows who watches this channel already knows how great this record is. If you don't, just go listen to it, because it's a very hard one to explain, but it is an absolutely phenomenal album, as we all know, and it's It's a masterpiece. It's a 10 out of 10 album for me. An instrumental album. I own quite a few instrumental records, and I could have gone with the safe choice of something like Tubular Bells, or maybe No Pussyfooting by Robert Fripp and Brian Eno, both great records, but I thought I'd go with something a little bit, you know, unexpected, something that people might not have expected me to pick out, and I'm going with the Minecraft soundtrack by C418. I was going to pick this for one of the later prompts, which I'll talk about later, but this album, it just has me in a chokehold every time I listen to it. It's nostalgic, reminds me of being a kid and playing Minecraft. You know, I know a lot of my demographic probably aren't in tune with that as much as I am and other 21-year-olds, almost 22. But this album is so good, it's so relaxing, and it just brings me back to a better time of sitting on my Xbox playing Minecraft until like early hours of the morning. So yeah, this is my pick for instrumental album. Your favourite album cover. This doesn't always equal your favourite album, but this one actually took me a little while because there are so many great album covers. Album artwork is just, when it's good, it's wow, it's breathtaking. But I went with my favourite album cover from when I was younger, and I was thinking about it recently, and pretty sure it's probably still my favourite album cover, and that is Power Slave by Iron Maiden. I mean, there's just so many little bits you can pick up with on this album. I just love how it matches the music as well. This was originally my favourite Iron Maiden album before I discovered Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, which is also a fantastic album with a great album cover. But this one, I think, takes the cake. It just looks really cool. It's really cool. I'm a bit of a sucker for ancient Egyptian kind of looking things. I had like a weird fascination with it when I was a lot younger, so maybe that's like a sentimental thing with ancient Egyptian looking things and album covers. And as I said, it matches the sound of the album as well. A childhood favourite. I'd say the band that sums up my childhood the most is Radiohead, and I went with the Bends. I have very fond memories of listening to this in the car with my parents alongside OK Computer, but I think this one has just like all the songs I remember from when I was very young, you know, like Street Spirit, My Iron Lung, you know, stuff like that. Like, it just really reminds me of being a little one in the backseat listening to Radiohead. It explains so much about the way I've turned out that I started off listening to Radiohead. An album where you know every song word for word. For me, this one was quite difficult actually, because there are a few albums that I know word for word, and I could have picked my favourite album, but I decided to go a little bit different from my favourite album. Still in my like top 10 favourite albums anyway. Mesmerised by System of a Down. For some reason I really had a massive connection to this record in my teen years. I listened to it like every day for months and months and months, to the point where if I was being like held hostage and I had to sing every single line from this song, I would be able to do it. I'd be free. You know, I know every song on this album back to back pretty much. Fantastic album as well. I know a lot of people have their weird thoughts about this record, and it's got some funny ones on there, but I still think overall it's a great album, and it just reminds me of a good time when I was younger, and favourite System of a Down album to this day. Pick 2 albums with the same colour scheme. I came up with this one yesterday because I thought that's such a fun idea, because I've got so many albums in my collection that like they match each other like colour wise, and it's always just really satisfying to look at. I thought I tried to challenge myself to pick 2 completely different genres. So the first one I went with was version 2.0, sorry, by Garbage, and the other one was Issues by Korn, both orange albums, both fantastic and orange. An album which relaxes you. This one might be a funny pick to those who know the record, but I'm going with Death Consciousness by Have a Nice Life. The reason why I said it's quite a funny one is because if you actually look at the themes and the whole concept of this album, it's very, very dark and very depressing, very existential, but, you know, nice sounding music. I listen to this so much when I want like an album that I could hug, basically. That should be the name of the prompt. But this one really just, you know, sets me down, lowers my mood in more ways than one. Depressing. It's such a great record that, you know, from the start, it's like, oh, I feel so happy listening to this nice little acoustic, and then it goes wham into the next track, and there's just some really nice like just acoustic bits and chill bits, and then some really nice, you know, more upbeat and heavier stuff. Very relaxing album. The heaviest album in your collection. This doesn't necessarily need to be like heavy as in like metal. It could be heavy as in rock or psych or prog or whatever, just something heavy. And the heaviest album in my collection, probably as of now, is Pain Remains by Lorna Shore. And if you know the album, if you know the band, you'll understand why I am saying that. Very heavy, but very nice at the same time. So yeah, lovely album, great album. I don't know if I describe it as lovely, but whatever. It's just really great album, especially the last 3 tracks, which is like, it's like a giant old prog suite because it's Pain Remains part 1, 2 and 3, and they kind of all run into each other and it feels like a big old prog epic. That's probably why I love it so much. But it's heavy and it's really good. An album you want to purchase in 2024. This is our last prompt of the video, and the album I really want to get most this year, hopefully gonna get it this year, is Post by Bork, which is a really great album. I actually got it for a friend for her birthday last year. And I'm kind of jealous. I wish I just kept it for myself because I've not been able to find it since. That'll be the one that I really want to get this year the most. And that is the end of today's video. Please let me know if you do this tag because it'll be really fun to get a little trend going. In the description I've put all the prompts in just so it's easier to, you know, than writing them all out again. Do the tag and I'll watch it and I will enjoy it probably. And I'll leave you a little comment and a little like. Talking of vinyl, we have a record store online, Discogs record store. Down in the description we're called Mubu Records and we sell secondhand vinyl. And yeah, if that's what you're into, go check it out and go get some vinyl if you want. I'm not forcing you. But other than that, all my links are in the description, my social media, my Spotify. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!